one of the other things I wanted to mention and that we want to bring to the new show is just some to frequently remind us of some important things. And so one of the things that we want to remind us all about is registration and voting deadlines that are coming up. And so those registration and voting deadlines, one great resource where you can find those is over at Reddit. And I will just pull that up real quick so you can take a look at it and see what I'm talking about. And it may be a little small over there, but should work here. And so up here you can see they have a current list of registration dates, and as you see, New Jersey just recently passed, and we have Puerto Rico coming up on the 16th, and Kentucky on the 18th, and West Virginia on the 19th, Connecticut on the 21st, Oregon on the 26th, and New Mexico is in May, and so is New Jersey. So remind folks, if you know anybody that lives in those areas, make sure to remind them that if they want their voice to be heard, they're going to need to make sure that they're registered. And you can get the details on whether they need to be registered as a Democrat or if it's open, or whether the registration date lines up with the voting date by going to voteforbernie.org. And that's a great resource, and it'll let you know all the details that you need to know about that. And also, as far as who's coming up on voting, we know we have the debate tonight and the vote on the 19th. So make sure if you have any friends in New York, that if you haven't already harassed them, that you're going to need to send them a reminder then, and hopefully they've registered as Democrats if they're able to participate. If not, I believe, Rosario Dawson, or not Dawson, Rosario had mentioned if you're an independent and you're not able to vote, make sure to try and get 2 Democrats, make sure that they get to the polls, or at the speech at Washington Park. She mentioned make it 5 people, so if you can do that, do that. And then there's going to be another big day on the 26th with 5 states voting. And Nis, were you able to get some more information on some progressives in New York? All right.
So it seems like Bernie Sanders has officially endorsed a swath of candidates, and there are a bunch of Democrats running, and there is, let's see, Zephyr Teachout. She's a Democrat running for House out of District 19. There is Eric Kingson, who's a Democrat running for House in District 24. Jana Hurd is also running for the House in District 18. Bill Perkins is running for the House in District 13. And Anna Throne-Holst is also running for the House in District 1. And I would like to remind everyone that the 2 state senators from the city of New York, I forget their names all of a sudden, they were some of the first state senators to publicly endorse Bernie Sanders. One is the state senator from, I can't remember right now, but they have been instrumental in getting, consolidating and getting out the black vote in New York City, and getting awareness around Bernie Sanders spread in the black community in New York City. So please, if you live in New York, or if you're just a Bernie Sanders fan who like to show gratitude, go find these guys and post positive things on their Facebook pages. Show people that it pays to endorse Bernie Sanders.
Absolutely, and I think Ben mentioned it on a previous show about how these are great because Bernie has personally, or at least had his staff go through and make sure that these candidates line up with many of the progressive ideas. But I know I personally have things that I disagree with Bernie on, or think he could push harder on, or change focus on a variety of issues. And so with those candidates, you're going to make sure that they find that they represent what you'd like on your local issues, or for where they're actually going to represent, and or that you're willing to push them in the direction that you'd like to see them, and that they seem like they're receptive in a way that if somebody that disagrees with you, that you can get them to see your perspective enough so that they can make concessions or whatever, so that you can reach your common goals. So as a
Okay,
little
just
caveat. Go
to update, it was State Senator Bill Perkins from Harlem and State Senator James Sanders Jr. from Queens that endorsed Bernie Sanders. And they did this very early on. Just an extra little tidbit about New York. Okay, so that was at least a very rough outlining of our news and recurring lead segments. As you might notice, we could use some technical producers and/or graphical departments. So if anyone's interested in giving a hand and building a show from the ground up, trying to reconfigure how news is done, not just here on this small channel, but moving on forward as we hope to build not just this channel, but many others to give corporate media a run for its money.